Well, if I'm not mistaken, I have Chris Cheney from The Living End on the line. Chris, are you there?
You are not mistaken. I'm here, present and accounted for.
Cool. And I believe at your tender middle age, you are still a Bluesfest virgin in the fact that The Living End have not yet played Bluesfest.
Yes, that's correct. We've been saving ourselves. We've been holding out. We've been playing hard to get for 25 years.
Yeah.
And we figured, you know what? If not now, when? So we are super, super excited to finally be doing it. I know it's not like, I don't know if some people think it's purely a blues festival, and obviously we know that it's not. It's sort of all genres. But I feel like, because of our background, we are definitely qualified to play Bluesfest because we do come from, a roots kind of blues, rock and roll, rockabilly kind of background. So the name works for us for sure.
Oh, look, absolutely. I think, Peter Noble, our director, has never been sort of one to say, oh, look, it's definitely blues only. It's spread its wings. And as you say, blues comes through the roots of so many different genres nowadays. So, yes, you guys qualify. And, we're pleased to give you the $50 plus petrol to get yourselves here,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not fussy these days. With everything we've just gone through, I am not fussed at all. I'll pay you guys to play.
Hey,
listen.
Just
to have the opportunity to get on stage at the moment is just, seems a bit of a novelty, really. So, we will make sure all guns will be blazing.
Yeah. Now, you released an album sort of in the year prior to all this crazy pandemic stuff going on, Wunderbar in 2018. Did you manage to do much during this lockdown period? Have you got new stuff all ready to rock, or what's happening?
Well, it's been a bit sort of start and stop, like most people. We were on tour at the beginning of 2020, and in between the shows, we actually jumped back into a rehearsal room, and we had a bunch of songs that I had written that we started playing around with. And we had about 5 or 6 that we were really, really happy with, and we were about to go into the studio and just lay them down, not really knowing whether it would be an EP or an album or what it would be at that point. But we had 5 crackers that we were really happy with. And of course, then the pandemic hit, the tour got shut down, and I flew home to Los Angeles. And so we've yet to sort of pick that back up again. But, I think we're probably not far away from that. The only problem now is they probably feel like old songs.
But they'll still be new to us, though. They'll still be new to us.
They will, and they'll be new to us. Like we just kind of threw some ideas around in the rehearsal room, and we recorded them, and they came up great. And we were working with a producer and everything, and so we haven't really played them, for 2 years. We haven't really played shows properly for 2 years or whatever it's been. So they're definitely fresh for us as well. And yeah, we've always got loads of ideas kicking around. I've got a hard drive full of ideas sort of ready to go. So no lack of inspiration there.
Okay. And so coming to Bluesfest for the first time, what do you reckon I know you maybe not thought so much about it right now, but what are your thoughts on the set list? Bit of new, a lot of classics. What's going to happen in a typical Living End set for Bluesfest?
Well, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, really. I suppose the great thing about having 8 or 9 records, or however many we've put out now, I forget. The fact that we've been around for such a long time is daunting on one hand, but on the other hand, we're lucky enough now that we have this whole set that we can play that kind of spans a couple of generations, and we notice a real diversity in our audiences. It seems like the people that got into the band on our first EPs and our first record have never strayed. They've stuck with the band, and we've managed to pick up other people along the way. And it's something I'm very proud of, the fact that we've had kind of a few different sort of hits and radio songs over different years. It's not all about just the first record. So, in answer to your question, I would say that it's pretty diverse kind of set. We definitely don't shy away from kind of playing stuff that people know, but at the same time, there's always a few kind of curveballs and things in there. It's really about, the show, just has to have liftoff. So we have all sorts of, antics and sort of high moments in the set, I suppose. We've got a couple of instrumentals that go back to our kind of rockabilly background. It was like it's all energy. So whatever it takes to lift the roof off.
Yeah, well, you guys have been together now. I mean, you and Scott have been together forever, and with Andy for long enough now. Do you ever do you ever look at each other and go, let's skip the next one and put in blah instead? Do you call it from the stage sometimes?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think the thing that it's very dangerous to play the same thing and to be too rehearsed. I think that's just sort of, that just breeds kind of, complacency, and kind of it gets boring. I love, the best parts of a gig sometimes are when someone will yell something out from the audience, and it's like, okay, let's just give it a crack. What's the worst that can happen? And you've got to reach right back into the memory bank to play some rare, album track. And quite often it'll come off the rails, and that's kind of the best moment of the show almost. And I quite often say to the guys, it's really important. I know you want to get up there and kick ass every night, but quite often that can happen by just sort of being on the edge a little bit and kind of leaving some room for improv. And because we're at a three-piece, and we've always been a three-piece, and our background has been, there's a lot of improvisation and stuff just from our sort of rock and roll and jazz and the background of my guitar playing, I'm always going off on different tangents, and it's sort of looking at the other two guys like, all right, follow me. We're going to head somewhere and let's see where we end up.
And with that in mind, you guys have collaborated with a heap of people during your time. Have you managed to sort of check out who's on our lineup and, people that you might want to catch up with or catch their sets, or you might think, like I know you worked with Barnsley a few years ago.
Yep.
Is there something maybe in the air that because we're a mainly Australian lineup this time, that there might be a few collaborations or a few guests sort of rocking around?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the coolest things that has happened over the last 12 months, and it got spurred on by being locked down, was Jimmy and I actually made a rockabilly record, and we've been talking about it for probably 10 years or so, because he has a great love of that kind of early Johnny Burnett trio, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, all that sort of early 50s kind of rockabilly stuff. And that's my background as well. So we always said, one of these days we'll make a record. And we did, and we finished it, and it's completely done. The artwork and everything's finished, and it's him and myself, Jules Holland playing piano, Slim Jim Phantom playing the drums, and a bass player and a saxophone player, friends of ours from LA, playing on a few tracks as well. And it's the best record. It absolutely kicks ass. We're so proud of it, but we just haven't figured out exactly when the release is going to be, or how we're going to roll it out, just because we've all got sort of our own things going on now that we're back to playing. But that's something I'm super excited about, and hopefully we get to do some shows. But it just turned out we did one song at a time, basically over the course of 6 months or so, and every track came up absolute banger.
Well, I think you've teased us enough that, I think I'll be nailing Jimmy to the floor and you to the floor until we get at least one song out of you at Bluesfest. That would be awesome.
It would be awesome, actually. You might have planted a seed there, actually.
Well, it might be a nice launch, an album launch or a single launch, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Well, you'll have a captive audience.
Super fun. And we sure will. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been lucky like that. I've sort of collaborated on a few things with people that I suppose I looked up to when I first started, that have now almost become friends and collaborators, which is pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you haven't worked with yet that you'd go, oh, geez, I really wanted, I've been wanting to work with you for years? Obviously not.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's probably a few, but
Yeah.
no one that I can think of off the top of my head. I really like writing for other people. I wrote a song for Vicar and Linda on their new record, and I've written a song for Jimmy as well before. And I quite like putting a different sort of hat on and imagining what that particular artist. You know, I sort of think, well, what do I think that they could sing? What do I want them to sound like? And so I really like that, because you step outside yourself and you make different decisions when you're putting a song together, and it sort of forces you into writing a different kind of tune, which I really like. So yeah, I'm sure there are people out there. I just can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Maybe
Well,
Brian Setzer, you know, who's my sort of guitar hero as a kid. We've known each other for a while now, and I'd love to write some songs for him one day.
hey, well, there you go. And with that in mind, and all of those collabs like Vicar and Linda and songwriting and stuff, who are also coming to Bluesfest, of course, we'll just kick this interview into touch. And I'll let you go and write some songs for some more Aussies, so that, in fact, you'll spend several hours on stage collaborating with them. Chris, thank you.
No worries.
Thank you very much for your time right now. Thank you.